Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a level check. It is now 7:15. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. And in just a second, I am going to start the 7:15 streaming weather show, okay? Got to turn on the other venues, the other platforms, I should say. So now Roku, TV, and all that are on. Give me a second to wet my whistle here. And we are off. So hi everyone, this is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer in the Streaming Center. 75 degrees at the International Airport. That is the official temperature. We made it to 77 today. And that was 3 degrees shy of the record high for the date. So what we have here, we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today, 4 days in record territory. Tuesday we missed a record high by 2 degrees. Wednesday we beat the record high by 1 degree. We missed it by 2 degrees yesterday, missed it by 3 degrees today, but we were in record territory for 4 straight days. Now it's going to kind of be back to reality as far as temperatures go. But everybody got a welcome break. Saw hundreds of people out along the riverfront, so I came into work each day. So everybody got a little bit of that, hey, it's nice to be outside feel going. So let's go ahead and take a look at another camera shot. Okay, this is our camera shot up in Mount Auburn, looking out toward Norwood. If you go kind of off to the right, down the center of the screen, that's I-71 there down below, and you can see the cloud cover. Not low-threatening cloud cover, still mostly high and middle stuff, but overall it's going to thicken up. And again, 75 at the International Airport. Doesn't look like this camera's connected yet. Let's give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. -1, -2. I guess it's not going to connect. So we'll just move on to what we've got coming next. And this is the rain forecast. Now, if you remember, yesterday when we looked at these rain forecasts, this particular model, the European model, had 3 inches in some spots around the tri-state. Doesn't have anything at 3, but does have close to 2 inches around the tri-state. So it's holding with fairly strong, fairly heavy rainfall. And most of that falling Saturday afternoon, evening, and overnight into Sunday morning. Now, the European model kind of changed, but this is the American model, also called the GFS, and it's pretty much the same as it was yesterday, showing that area, Lawrenceburg, Vevey, Owenton, either 3 inches or closing in on 3 inches and a little bit less off to the east. So what's been happening here, and I mentioned this earlier in the week, that every single one of these severe weather systems evolves in its own way, okay? And there are many, many changes that can take place. And in the case of this one, when you get an extra strong system that's to the south of us, it kind of ties up the energy and moisture. And typically, nothing really big happens around here. And that's kind of the case now. This is turning more into a heavy rain event with a few embedded thunderstorms, not really strong, severe thunderstorms, but a few embedded thunderstorms. A couple could be severe. And with that could come some flooding, could come a few severe thunderstorm warnings, but it's not turning out to be a system-wide, really tough, severe thunderstorm situation. Okay, then the Weather Prediction Center says it's a slight risk of excessive rainfall. That slight risk is from 8 a.m. Saturday to 8 a.m. Sunday. Okay, in addition to that, the National Weather Service issued a wind advisory. It's for the county shaded in the bay shade there. It starts at 2 a.m. Saturday, goes to 8 p.m. Saturday, gust up to 50 miles an hour. So what we're looking at here, we're looking at, maybe a few severe thunderstorms, but not many. Maybe a warning here and there, but for the most part, much less than the models indicated earlier in the week. We're looking at winds gusting to 50 miles an hour outside of thunderstorms. It's not thunderstorm wind gusts. Those are just the environmental wind gusts caused by the big scale storm. So that could cause some power outages, bring some tree limbs down in that. And then we're talking about the possibility of some localized short duration flooding around the tri-state. A system like this is not enough to really affect the Ohio River. It's way, way too big and takes way too much over a much bigger area to affect the Ohio River. Okay, so back to full screen, and so wind advisory in effect. And in addition, this afternoon they issued a flood watch, excuse me, for Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason, and Lewis counties. Robertson is the one that doesn't have the label in it. Starts Saturday morning, goes into Sunday morning. Now they issued it for a 24-hour period starting Saturday morning But since they've issued that, it's become pretty apparent that we're not going to have enough rain to cause any kind of major flooding until we get into the afternoon hours of Saturday. Okay, so temperatures right now look like this. We're talking about, let's see, these are the 7 p.m. temperatures. We're talking about 70s around the tri-state. Still 79 in Ashland, Kentucky, 78 in Shelbyville, Indiana. What we did see is a couple of spots, like Oxford, Ohio, made it up to 81, made it to the 80s in Portsmouth and Ashland, and I think Shelbyville. But again, we settled down to about 25 degrees warmer than normal. Okay, now you see the stuff out over Missouri and Iowa. That is what we were worried about. And actually the models, even from earlier this week, have it pretty well placed. I mean, that's almost exactly what the model said it would be, except that it's not quite as strong. So as we zoom in, if you look at this, what you'll see here is that as the storms head northward, you can see them just die out here, and they are still around here. But notice you've got a line here, and what you look for, and you'll see it better when I put it full screen again, what you look for here is you look for the magenta-colored cores to the thunderstorms. That's an indicator of a strong, maybe severe thunderstorm. Well, if you look at that, you see that there are not many of those out there. The models thought that by this time this would be a rip-roaring line of tornadoes, strong, big, severe thunderstorms, and it just isn't. And that's actually good news. Okay, so let's change. What we'll do now is we're going to take this and we're going to add some additional information on it to kind of clarify the situation. Okay, so we're going to add on the severe thunderstorm warnings. Now you see those are all the severe thunderstorm warnings here in orange. The white outline is an indicator. That's our coding. We can plot them this way here at Fox 19. That's our coding that tornado tag has been put with those severe thunderstorm warnings. There's severe thunderstorm warnings. Don't be surprised if a tornado spins up out of them. However, let's go ahead and take a look at the tornado watch that's in effect. That tornado watch there in red extends through St. Louis into central Illinois, south into Arkansas. But if we can add on the storm reports, those are reported into the National Weather Service, and if you look closely, we don't have time to look at every single one of those, but you do not see any tornado shields there. You see the wind, you see tree limb damage in that. So there have been severe thunderstorms, there's been some damage, but there have been no tornadoes as of yet. And I've watched this all afternoon, and I haven't seen a tornado warning come out. And so what does that mean? That means that this system is weaker than it was expected to be, and that's because what's to the south is stronger and going to be the real big, the big gorilla, so to speak. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what the model shows. Okay, now what you're seeing here is you're seeing the model output for 4:10 a.m. Okay, that's 4:10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay, and if you look at this closely, you can see the cores to the thunderstorms. Way down here, you see a couple of those magenta-colored cores. You see one there, you see one there, you see one there. But you don't see as many as we had expected to see. You see all the purple there. So in other words, if you look at it, here's a purple core, or magenta as we call it. Okay, there's a magenta core right there. There are a couple down here. Whoops. But you don't see many around the tri-state. As a matter of fact, there just isn't much going on. So let's put this model into motion and watch what happens. Okay, so as they're crossing into Indiana, you see there are still a few that are potentially severe. As we head toward the Fox 19 Now viewing area, look at the southern part of that line just kind of falls apart. From Louisville southward, there's still some rain, but from Louisville north, there's kind of a break. Now watch what happens again. This is 6 a.m. By the time we get to 8:10 a.m., not much going on. Maybe a few showers, maybe a clap of thunder in the air. Nothing severe, almost nothing at all in the viewing area. So that's good news. Doesn't look like we've got a severe weather situation brewing for round one of this. And then it pushes off to the east and kind of comes to an end. But what I want you to notice here is look at all the rain down here. Okay, now as that storm system progresses out of the plains, we're going to see winds become really strong out of the south-southwest. As a matter of fact, at about a mile above the surface, the winds will be about 85 miles an hour pushing into the viewing area. And what that's going to do is going to push all that warm, moist air right on in here and bring us plenty of rainfall. Okay, and that's why they have that flood watch in effect. So There you see by 11:50 a.m. still not much going on. Now remember, Saturday is the St. Patrick's Day parade. St. Patrick's Day is actually Monday, but you got to celebrate it on a weekend. So it's supposed to begin at noon, and if it lasts an hour and a half, like they said on the average it does, I think they've got a chance of getting it in with that. But watch what happens as we head toward 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, it's pretty much rain everywhere. So late in the St. Patrick's Day parade, there's a chance of getting some strong or heavy rain with lightning and thunder, but it should start off okay. All right, and then all that rainfall is just going to keep coming out of the south. You can see down here, it extends all the way down here. It's all the way heading northward, and we could see in some spots 3 inches of rain out of this, and that's why the National Weather Service has that flood advisory in effect. And you can see by 5 p.m. it extends all the way down into Tennessee, and that's just solid areas of heavy rainfall. Okay, let's go over to the longer term stuff. Climate Prediction Center today updated their 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and it says a little bit warmer than normal, although some of our southern counties in the gray will be about normal. When we go to the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, goes out to the 28th of March. It says warmer than normal, not a lot, but warmer than normal. And now the 3 to 4 week outlook, which was updated today, puts us back to normal from the 27th through the 9th. So normal temperatures. In other words, it's saying no deep freeze, no late spring deep freeze, or I should say early spring deep freeze. And in fact, we're not going to have any big, quick warm-up either. We're going to be about normal as we head into the first part of April. Precipitation-wise, we stay about normal there, a little bit above normal in the green. Stays that way through the 28th of March, and it stays that way through the 9th of April. Now, if you look at this, remember about a year ago, we were talking about the La Nina that was supposed to develop, and as we kept going through the summer into the fall, it wasn't developing, it wasn't developing, it wasn't developing. And one of the things I told you is that for the winter outlook, if the La Nina didn't develop, we're going to get blasted in January, and we did. And now the La Nina is still trying to develop, and they're still hanging on to it, and this is that La Nina pattern. A La Nina winter and spring puts a bullseye of above normal precipitation over this part of the United States. Of course, Cincinnati near the center of that bullseye. And so we, according to what we see here, and I concur with all of this, from what I've looked at for the longer term models, that we're going to have about normal temperatures, no blast of Arctic air lasting for a week, no early blast of midsummer-like weather. We just had a blast already, and that's probably the end for a while, and showery. So the outlook right now on opening day is a high of 59 with a chance for a few showers. Okay, so here's the 7-day forecast. 7-day forecast looks like this. 61 for the low tonight, 72 the high tomorrow. Tomorrow a first alert weather day with thunderstorms and windy weather. And again, 2 rounds of thunderstorms. The morning round looks like it's dying out, so we'll have a few claps of thunder. I can't rule out 1 or 2 isolated weak severe thunderstorms, but it doesn't look to be a big deal in the morning. We end up with a break, and then we go into more widespread rain. 2 to 3 o'clock it starts, and then right on through the night, we're going to get rain with embedded thunderstorms. I think a minimal threat of severe weather, more of a threat of some flooding rainfall. Leftover showers Sunday for the Hart Mini Marathon. I think all the heavy weather, the strong to severe thunderstorms, the dangerous lightning, the torrential rainfall, all off to the east. There will be some cool showers falling for the Hart Mini Marathon, the high 57. 33 and 55, mostly sunny Monday, 67 Tuesday, 73 on Wednesday. And then scattered showers are back on Thursday with a high temperature right around normal, a little bit below normal on Friday. When we get to beyond the 7-day forecast, I've got a mistake on this. I forgot to move my Reds logo from Friday to Thursday the 27th. So this is opening day, actually. And you can see the hot 46 low, the high 59 with a chance for a little bit of rainfall. It doesn't look like a big system, but a chance for some showers. And so you can see that we're back to about normal. Normal high by the time we get to the 28th is right around 60. So we're close to normal, maybe a little bit above as we head through or toward the first week of April. And here's what that looks like, 14-day stretch. You can see that high temperatures stay a little bit above normal, so do low temperatures. And so that is basically what we're going to get. Precipitation-wise, we'll be a little bit above normal, so normal temperatures, a little bit above normal precipitation, and let's just hope that we don't get so much precipitation that farmers have trouble getting into the fields with their equipment. That is a possibility, but it's not looking too likely at this point. All right, let me go over to Facebook, see what we've got over there. Any questions, comments? If you're watching, you're allowed to say anything you want. However, I'm also allowed to ban you. So there's a trade-off there. Just kidding. Okay, so Susan Wally says, hello, Steve. Another amazing day. Yeah, it was another great day. And I tell you what, we've had 4 days in a row now where we were in record territory, all right? So we had Tuesday where we were 2 degrees shy of a record high. Wednesday, we actually broke a record high by 1 degree. Thursday, 2 degrees shy of a record high temperature. And today, 3 degrees shy of a record high temperature. And I tell you what, I can't believe how quickly the soil at my house dried out. It literally, it's not dry, it's still acceptably moist, but it definitely dried out. So yeah, it was another amazing day, Susan. Zazzle Don Long, hello Steve, just wondering, are we going to be in the slight risk Saturday night into Sunday morning? Okay, you know what? I'm glad you asked that, Azazel, because I think I skipped that when I set up the show here. Let me go back to, come on computer, obey me. Sometimes the computers don't obey, you know how that works. Let me go and take a look at these. All right, so first of all, okay, here is the one for tonight. Okay, this is the convective outlook, and I forgot to show these to you. So there you see that tonight into tomorrow morning, this Fox 19 Now viewing area here is kind of split between the slight risk, which covers most of southeast Indiana and the western part of northern Kentucky, does not include Owen County. A marginal risk in the darker green here for the center part, and our far eastern counties, Highland, Adams, Lewis, most of Mason, just some typical thunderstorms that are non-severe. Okay, and that's pretty much consistent over the past couple of days. So that is what we've been working with today for the Fox 19 Now viewing area, a level 1 to 2 out of 5. Okay, and then the newest one here, now this is directly impacts the question that, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. It was Azazel or Azazel, Don Long. Okay, so here we go. This is what that one looks like, and what you see here is that they've taken if you remember yesterday, this slight risk was all the way up to Lake Erie. Okay, well they've decided that they're going to push it southward, so it barely touches Owen, Grant, parts of Carroll counties. And I'm thinking what you're going to see when they issue the updated version of this overnight is that they're going to push that slight risk even farther to the south, because this is becoming more of a rain event in here, with flooding being the main issue. Okay, so high risk. You don't often see high risk, once or two, maybe 3 times a year, but a high risk of a wild outbreak of severe weather from Mississippi into Alabama. A moderate risk, it includes parts of Georgia all the way back here into parts of Louisiana, and that slight risk again up to here. But I think what's going to happen, because yesterday at this time the slight risk was up here to Lake Erie, they've pushed it a few hundred miles south. I think they're going to push it south almost to the Tennessee-Kentucky border tomorrow, and we're going to be left with a rain event, and that's for Saturday into Sunday morning, so Saturday night into Sunday morning. So I hope that answered your question, and I'm really glad you asked that, because I forgot. I just realized when I read your question that I had forgotten to put that in the show. So Zazzle, Don Long, and this. So that's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. We are talking about maybe a slight risk as it exists right now in parts of Carroll, Owen, Grant counties, but I think it'll be down here at the Kentucky-Tennessee state line. The slight risk will be in a marginal risk for tomorrow night, and probably not, maybe not even that. So, what about Vivi, Indiana? David Perry asks. What about? Okay, so Vivi, Indiana, right now, right in here, right on the border of a slight risk to a marginal risk. And again, if that pushes south, it'll be in a marginal risk. But it still looks like you might get a clap of thunder in Vivi. You'll get some heavy rain. You'll get some winds. If you get a thunderstorm, there'll be winds from that, and the winds in the environment will still be gusty, pretty much, but that should be it. No tornadic activity expected in Ripley County. Everything's settling down. So Neil Olberting II, I don't think you're going to see anything that you have to worry about tornado-wise. Carolyn Peasley says, hello. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so David Perry starting to talk my language, talking about his dog. He goes, my dog now hates thunderstorms since the hail event last year. Thanks for all you do. Well, you're welcome. I'm a dog owner. My wife and I have 8 adopted dogs, and we have one. It's an Australian cattle dog, now also called a blue heeler. I mean, when I was growing up, they were called blue heelers, and they were pretty rare, pretty hard to find around here, but they've become much more widespread. But the Australian cattle dog that we have is one that we have a few dogs that are deathly afraid of thunder, and when they see lightning, you know, thunder's coming. But the Australian cattle dog, and as somebody once said, it's the closest thing you can have to a wild animal without having a permit. Just wants to go get it. When there's thunder going on, and that occurs also with fireworks, he just wants to get out. And if you open the door, and it will wake up all the neighbors if we do it at night, he goes out and he chases it and tries to find it and get it. He was protecting us. So, so David, we have dogs that just hate thunder and are scared to death, but we have our Australian cattle dog who's going to go get it. It's pretty funny to watch because he runs out and jumps up in the air and tries to bite the raindrops. A lot of energy there. Okay, Tammy Clough says, we'll be in Dayton tomorrow, and I'm assuming you mean Dayton, Ohio, for soccer tournaments Saturday. What are we expecting? Okay, I think up in Dayton, what you're going to see is between like 9 a.m. and maybe 3 p.m., maybe a little bit later than that, but 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., a break in the rainfall, so just scattered lighter showers. It'll be windy. Winds will still gust to 40, maybe 45, 50 miles an hour, not with thunderstorms, just with the storm winds, it's with the big storm winds itself. So windy, temperatures in the upper 60s in the afternoon up in Dayton, and a few hit and miss showers up until about 3 to 4 p.m. The steady, heavier rain comes in. So if you have a soccer match that occurs after like 3 p.m., not only will you be experiencing or have the chance of experiencing heavy rain, there'll also be some embedded thunderstorms. And I'm not sure what the kids' soccer rules are, but if you hear thunder, you ought to pull them off the field right away. And one word of caution, if you're out in the open, let's say at a soccer match, the absolute worst thing you can do if there's lightning around, without a doubt, the absolute worst thing you can do is stand under a tree. You're much safer walking out into the middle of the soccer pitch and just standing there or crouching down into the catcher's position is better than you are under a tree, because if that lightning strikes that tree, several things can happen. Number one, if the lightning strikes it just right, the current traveling through the high resistance wood will heat the sap enough so that the sap tries to go to steam and you can get an explosion, and literally you can have shrapnel, wood shrapnel coming off the tree when lightning strikes it. I've actually seen a tree explode. It happened when I was a kid in our front yard, and it just boom like that, and it can kill you. I mean, it's like a bomb going off. And so that's one thing. The other thing is that if the lightning strikes the tree, it heads to the ground and then travels out along the roots. So you can be standing 10 feet away, 20 feet away from a tree, and if you're near where one of the roots go, that it can electrify the soil enough to electrocute you. And the other thing, if you're standing right under the tree, literally the electric spark, there's so much amperage, so much power in those lightning bolts that the electricity can literally arc over from the tree to your body and electrocute you. So the absolute worst place to stand if you're caught outdoors when there's lightning in the area is a tree, with no exceptions. There's never, ever, ever a reason when there's lightning around to stand under a tree unless you have a death wish. So your best bet if you're stuck out in the open is if you can get to your car, to get back to your car, because that's not totally safe. It's a heck of a lot better than being out. And the other thing is that literally what they recommend, one of the problems you have if you're out in the middle of the soccer pitch and lightning strikes 50 feet away, well, that current can travel through the soil if it's wet enough, and they can get to you and electrocute you. So your best bet is to have the minimum amount of contact you can with the ground, and that's literally in the baseball catcher's position. I don't know, my knees are so bad I couldn't stay that way for long. But your best bet is to get back to the car as quickly as possible and wait it out. All right, so that was just, Tammy, that doesn't mean you're going to experience lightning there, but I think if the matches that you're watching are later in the afternoon, you've got a good chance of rain with some embedded thunderstorms. Not necessarily severe thunderstorms, but all thunderstorms have lightning, and that can be dangerous. Okay. So tomorrow will be a rainy, muddy dog feet day, says Linda Lohide. Absolutely, Linda. We have 8, and let me tell you, some days I look at where they come in the door in the TV room, and it's like, oh, and we have hardwood floors, and so it's easy to clean up. It's like, oh my God, what am I thinking? Misty Lynn says something. Misty, I must have missed part of your comment. It is my arch nemesis. Doesn't look too bad though. Yeah, the weather does not look that bad. Things are looking better as we head toward the event. Garnet Rothwell, hello. You're welcome. I'm glad. I've spent my entire adult life trying to keep people informed about the weather, so I'm glad to do this. David Piat, hi, Steve from Hillsboro, Ohio. Hello, Dave. We have Ethan Emery here. He's a native of Hillsboro, so. Yeah, so Eric Pratt says no fishing tomorrow. Well, definitely not when the heavier rain's coming down with lightning around, but there might be a break in the morning when there's no thunderstorm activity near the area that you could go out. So probably not. You're safer not to mess with it, because one thing a lot of people don't know is thunderstorm, just a typical thunderstorm, 5 to 7 miles away, lightning can extend that far and come to ground and strike you and kill you. But there's another kind of thunderstorm, because the typical thunderstorm, most thunderstorms, the lightning begins in a negatively charged part of the cloud and then goes down to the ground where there's a positive shadow. Okay, it's an induced shadow. So if you've got that high negative charge in the base of the cloud, that the base of the cloud then, because it's negative, attracts positive charges down here at the ground, and so that's what we call an induced positive charge. And so the lightning bolt goes from the negative cloud base down to the positively charged ground, and back and forth, and so fast you can't count it. So a typical thunderstorm, lightning originates in the negative part of the cloud, and it could originate in the middle part of the cloud and go out to the air. That's cloud to air lightning. It can go from cloud to cloud, but cloud to ground lightning, typically negative base of the thunderstorm goes from the negative base to the induced positive, what we call a positive shadow underneath the cloud. And just because there's so much negative charge here, it literally attracts the positive charges beneath the cloud, and then the circuit is completed. Well, there's another kind of thunderstorm. It's called a positive lightning strike from these big thunderstorms. Not necessarily severe, but a positive strike, if you look at a thunderstorm, it might be 70,000 feet tall and a real big one, and maybe 50,000 feet up in the cloud. It doesn't have to be that high, but it can be that high. From a positive region of the cloud. So instead of originating in a negative part of the cloud, it originates in a positively charged part of the cloud, and those can shoot maybe 10 miles out. And years ago, it was in the early 1990s, there was a young man playing baseball down in northern Kentucky. If I remember correctly, it was in Newport. And there was a big thunderstorm near Hamilton, Ohio, up in Butler County. And the positive lightning bolts are typically called traditionally a bolt out of the blue. You've heard that expression. It's like, oh, it's like blue sky. There's no thunder or lightning around. Well, if 20 miles away there's a big thunderstorm, a lightning bolt can shoot that far out of that from the positive region high up in the cloud and come to ground somewhere else. And that's where the term a bolt out of the blue came from. It was a bolt of lightning, blue skies around, you don't see the thunderstorm, and boom, all of a sudden somebody's struck or a tree gets struck or something. So it's a surprising, unexpected thing, the bolt out of the blue, and that's named after a lightning strike. And it happens when the sky's clear, you don't see any clouds, and kaboom, there's a positive lightning strike. And that happened in the early 1990s. There's a young man playing baseball, and I thought it was Newport, Kentucky. and the thunderstorm was up south of Hamilton, Ohio, in Butler County, and a positive lightning strike came to the ground and killed him. So those are pretty rare, but typically when you're putting together a policy for avoiding lightning for like athletes on a field or something, you think in terms of 10 miles. If there's thunder and a storm within 10 miles of where you are, you should be taking cover. Okay, so that's that. Okay, what else have we got going on here? Andrew Riggs says hello from Fairfax. I live in Madisonville, right next door, so hello, Andrew. And I think every time you say hi, Andrew, I think I say the same thing. Peggy Niehaus, Hebron, Kentucky here. Hello to Hebron. Okay, Patty Kitchen, hello from Blue Creek, Ohio. Wow, far out in Adams County, Blue Creek, Ohio. Hello, Patty. We do have on our weather system, there's somebody out there that's a local weather observer, has their own weather station in Blue Creek, and we report that as often as it reports. Stephanie Frazier, second person reporting from Hillsborough. Hello to you, Stephanie. Missy Lynn. My kid is going on a date tomorrow and leaving mom home alone. So I hope no tornadoes so I don't freak out. No, I don't think there'll be any tornadoes tomorrow. So why don't you just ask your kid if you can go on the date with them? But that'll go over well, Misty. Ken Huber, I love a good snowstorm, but like my 70s also. Good point there, Ken. Christy McNeely said, just joined in. What are you in out of Middletown? Okay. A few hit and miss showers and thunderstorms overnight and tomorrow early morning, but not much. Then a break from like 9 a.m. to probably 2 to 3 p.m. And then the rain comes back in, and this time it's just rain. Not only is it just rain, it probably has some embedded thunderstorms, but not a great chance of anything severe. I think we're going to probably escape with any major severe storm during the late afternoon and evening hours of tomorrow. And then it basically comes to an end gradually Sunday morning, but by the time we get to 5 a.m. or so, all the severe weather is gone. Nothing tonight in Falmouth. You'll get some lightning and thunder, but no severe storms, nothing that you have to worry about, Sarah. Okay, Margaret Walsh, what about what time will the rain begin? It'll begin a little bit after midnight. By 6 a.m., there will still be scattered showers around, but the severe weather will have calmed down quite a bit. And then probably 7 to 8 is when we get the break. So 7 to 8 here in Cincinnati, we get the break, and that lasts till maybe 2 to 3 in the afternoon. But there'll still be showers in the area, but no dangerous weather in the area at that point. Sherry Schoonover, anything for Vivi? Other than a few thunderstorms and rain, I don't see anything that's going to be a big problem in Vivi. Letta Becker, what time is the rain supposed to start? It'll be after midnight, so probably 1 to 2 a.m. in most areas is when it'll start. Peggy Allen says hi from Wilmington, Ohio. Hi, Peggy. Jason Foley also watching from Blue Creek. Okay, 2 people from Blue Creek, so hello to Blue Creek. Okay. Kelly J. Angle Thompson, hello from Clarksville, Ohio. And that's up there in Clinton County because I always see Clarksville as you go up, if you're going up 71 or if you're looking at a map of 71. And I always think of the Monkees, the last train to Clarksville. So Kelly, thank you very much for being a train storm spotter because your time and effort to become a train storm spotter is really valuable to the National Weather Service and to us in the media to help get the word out to what's going on. So thank you very much for doing that. Chuck Moen says, how much rain will you get in Batavia? I think between 1 and 2 inches, Chuck. That'll mean a little bit overnight, but most of it comes in tomorrow afternoon, evening, till about 4 a.m. Sunday morning. So look for 1 to 2 inches in most cases. A few spots may pick up 2.5. Okay, well, those are all the comments. So that is it for today. Now, our schedule on the weekends is back to full swing. Ethan Emery will be in the morning. He'll have his live streaming weather show at 10:15 a.m. He does it again Sunday morning at 10:15 a.m. And our new meteorologist, Erin Ashley, she's a native of Milford, so she's a local person. She went to OU just like Ethan did and got her degree in meteorology there, so you can trust what she's saying. She knows her stuff. She will be in and do the 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday streaming weather show, okay? And then she does the evening TV shows. Ethan does the morning TV show. So we've got you covered. And I tell you what I'll be doing, I'm going to do the evening shows here at Fox 19. And if anything is threatening by then or any big changes have come, I'll do a quick streaming weather show just before midnight just to let everybody know. So that's if anything big has changed. So that's it for now. Thank you for joining me. Have yourself a great weekend. Stay safe, and let's keep our fingers crossed that the severe weather does what we think it's going to do and stay well to the south and not really impact us too much.